Hello everyone, my name is KRooney and this is Module 2 Group Discussions Fix-Up Strategies and I am a member of Team 2. First strategy I'd like to talk about that I would utilize in class would be summarizing. It requires students to determine what is important in what they are reading and to put it into their own words. I'm a huge proponent of I don't want you to memorize the content I'm providing to you. I want you to listen, learn, comprehend, and be able to use that information. That identify or generate main ideas, connect the main idea or central idea, eliminate unnecessary information, and remember what they read. A lot of times when we do lectures and notes, I'll tell students throughout the class, some days are going to be heavy, so we do 90-minute blocks every other day, and some days we're going to do project-based. But the days we do lectures and notes, I really need them to pay attention, and I try to put in little activities throughout the 90 minutes so that it's not just completely writing everything down. But a lot of times there's a lot of information up on the slide. Some people write fast, some people write slow. Excuse me. I tell my students, put it in your own words. We're going to go over this enough times and review this information that if you put it in your own words and understand, and I see that on a project or a test or in group discussions, you'll get credit in my class because I'd rather you understand it than just memorize it and forget about it. So how would I use summarizing? Um, I teach multiple business classes, and one of the classes is entrepreneurship. And during a lesson of ethics, we review notes for the lesson together and lecture notes and group discussion. And then we go over one of the projects we work on is students have to find a corporate ethical dilemma via a list I provide them. So it could be this list itself, 10 biggest corporate scandals and how they affected share prices. They can pick from this list or they can go through and pick their own list. It's entirely up to them. I'm open to either one of those. Then the students would use the rap sheet provided to read, review, and reflect and write a short paper about the article, utilizing what they learned from lectures and notes. So this is the rap sheet that I found online. Fairly basic and simple, but I think it does a very good job of explaining what the process is. So this is the rap sheet up here. This is a blank one, so most of these articles aren't very long and detailed. Most of them are maybe just a small scroll on a web page. So you number the paragraphs, give me the who and what about paragraph, and what's important about that who or what. So what was the company, what happened, who did it affect, the stock prices, the economy, is the company still in business, or things along those lines. And then here's another one where it's actually completed for the students themselves so that they could see an end result and kind of review, okay, if I'm reading this paragraph, here's what I need to pick out in the high details. My kids usually have fun with this one because sometimes they understand it, but they don't necessarily get the grasp of the deep dive effect that it had on the company, employees, the consumers, the economy, the market, and all those things. The next one I would use is compiling vocabulary. The student writes each term in a vocabulary journal or provided format using a standard sentence stem format. If the student does not know or understand a vocab term, they are allowed to utilize sources like Google to search for the meaning and an example. One of my other classes I teach is personal consumer finance. Really enjoy this class. Students these days don't know what they don't know, especially when it comes to finance. But at the beginning of each lesson and chapter, I hand out an important vocabulary terms, advising my students again, I don't want you to memorize this and forget it. I want you to learn it and understand it. Before we start the section, I hand out the attached vocab. So this is what that would look like. And it has vocabulary words that are predetermined that are important for that section itself. And then I have to go through and define what they think it means and an example of it. This is not for a grade, but they understand the importance of this as we go through the lessons and projects. So they fill that out, and then during the lecture and notes that we go through, they compare and contrast with that sheet what they thought the definition was, what an example was, and what it actually is. So what we learned during that and use a real world scenario. It can be one that we provide in class, or it can be one that they actually come up with themselves as long as it meets their criteria for it. Again, I haven't used this one. Usually I just hand out the sheet and I kind of write them as we go through the lectures and notes. But learning a little bit more about the compiling vocabulary, I think I'm going to kind of do kind of a pre-test, post-test kind of option with this piece. I think the kids will really like it. And again, I want them to learn more about it than just memorize it, take a test, and forget about it. Looking forward to seeing the other videos and presentations from my team and other people in the class. Hope you all have a great one. Talk to you soon. Thanks.